Hey everyone, so I just watched Zack Snyder's latest film, Army of the Dead. So right off the bat, I was really excited for this because, well, obviously we're just coming off the Snyder cut of Justice League. This is basically Zack Snyder going back to his roots. I admire its ambition, really, and basically the plot does sort of take things in I would say, a pretty unique direction for a zombie movie. I mean, I'm not a zombie movie expert, but I mean, of all the horror subgenres, zombie is probably the one I've seen the most of. It's sort of like if a zombie apocalypse happened, but it didn't like completely consume the world, at least not yet. Things are still somewhat being contained. Basically, an outbreak happens around Las Vegas, but they've kept things contained, and the president's saying that they're planning to nuke it soon. If you want to know whether you'll enjoy this movie or not, it really comes down to, well, you're gonna enjoy Army of the Dead, I think, if you're a Zack Snyder fan, which I am. If you're not a Zack Snyder fan, I really doubt you'll have a good time with this movie. I mean, maybe unless you're just a really hardcore zombie fan, because I do think it's a pretty solid zombie movie. I think the characters are fun. I'd say about half of them are likable. Not really, like, super developed, but likable. And then half of them are kind of assholes, but I guess that's kind of the point. I definitely do think, I don't know the actor's name, but yeah, Dieter, he's the safecracker character. He's really funny. It definitely does have a sense of humor, this movie. Some people have criticized its runtime. I didn't really feel the runtime. Maybe I was just very much in the mood for this movie, but I honestly really didn't even feel the runtime that much for Army of the Dead. I mean, it was about 2.5 hours, but it kind of flew by for me, and I was just very much engaged. And you're really like once it gets going, you're really always on the edge of your seat in this movie, I think. I mean, not that the characters are like super developed, but you get enough that I think you're invested in them enough to go through this really kind of intense, scary journey through this zombie-infested Las Vegas. And another spin he sort of puts on the whole zombie thing, with on top of just the world not being completely overrun, but still kind of containing it, so the world on the outside is still going on as it is. Another spin on it, I would say, is the fact that, well, of course, I mean, this was clearly represented in the trailers pretty well. Yeah, the zombies themselves are very different than zombies in most things. They're actually probably more akin to like the White Walkers in Game of Thrones, I would say, but in a more modern world setting. That's sort of the best way I can describe it without getting into too many more spoilers. I'm really looking forward to what Zack has in store there's supposedly going to be a prequel to this movie. I'm not sure which character was supposed to be. I think it was Dieter. I'm hoping it was Dieter, because I think of all the side characters, he was definitely the one that I'm like, I'd like to see sort of how that guy ended up as this like master safecracker. That'd be fun. Even if it's not a zombie movie, I think that could be a fun character to explore more. And also, I'm not really personally into anime much, but I am intrigued for an anime sequel series to this. I don't know. I think for me, the thing with anime is something about the style of it just never really, I find it hard to really connect with characters when it's all through that kind of style for the most part. There's exceptions, but if I'm already invested in the characters, then they can sort of be invested in them just enough through a different medium, then they can be put into kind of any format or medium or style, and I think I'll be interested. So since I enjoyed this movie, and I hear there's going to be a sequel anime follow-up, even though I'm not particularly into anime, that is an anime I would definitely watch. So yeah, I'm all in for what Zack does with this movie. It was not one of my favorite Zack Snyder movies by any stretch. That being said, I still enjoyed it and would definitely like to see what he has planned for this whole like master grand plan for where this is all going. Yeah, and I think it was nice, even though personally I think his DCU movies are probably easily my favorite ones he's done. I mean, I think I could kind of feel that this was like a healthy thing for him to make, to kind of go back to his roots and do something not with Warner Brothers, who, from what we know, treated him horribly. So ultimately, I'm happy this movie happened. I'm happy we got another Zack Snyder movie just so soon after the Snyder Cut, and it sort of reinvigorated everyone's sort of excitement and love for Zack Snyder. I think a lot of his non-DC movies do have that issue of a bit of style over substance, where not that his DC movies aren't full of amazing style, but I think they also have a lot more substance. His DCEU ones in particular, I would say, just Watchmen does have substance, but at the same time, it's hard to say because it's really such a strict adaptation, so it's hard to say how much of it is really him putting substance into it. Whereas with the DCU movies, I do feel like he's making some pretty intricate and meaty stories for those characters to go on. So I think this is a really fun example of, it's pretty much Zack Snyder porn. That's how I would describe it. It's arguably the most Zack Snyder movie Zack Snyder has ever made. And if you're a Snyder fan like me, then you're going to enjoy it. So what would I give Army of the Dead? I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. Please like, share, and subscribe. Take care. Bye.